Hello, mystics. Today we're talking about Ostara. Ostara is the modern Wiccan holiday that represents the spring equinox, a point of perfect balance on the journey through the wheel of the year. Night and day are of equal length and in perfect equilibrium. Light and dark, masculine and feminine, inner and outer, in balance. As a holiday, Easter predates Christianity and was originally the name for the spring equinox. On the old Germanic calendar, the equivalent of April was called Easter month. Ostara is the Germanic goddess of the dawn, who is celebrated during the spring equinox. It is likely that Ostara is a localized goddess, worshipped by the Anglo-Saxons in what is now southeastern England, and it is very difficult to find academic evidence of her worship. Interestingly, Ostara doesn't appear anywhere in ancient Germanic mythology, and despite assertions that she may be a Norse deity, she does not show up in the poetic prose of the Eddas either. However, she could certainly have belonged to a tribal group in the Germanic area, and her stories may have been passed through oral traditions. Ostara is mentioned in the Temporum Ratone, written by an 8th century monk known as Venerable Bede, who reported that pagan Anglo-Saxons in medieval Northumbria held festivals in Ostara's honor during the month of April. Other than this text, we don't have much information about how Ostara was honored by the pagans. It is fairly unlikely that Bede, who was a scholar as well as a Christian academic, would have made her up. Of course, it is equally possible that Bede simply misinterpreted a word at some point, and that Ostara month was not the name for a goddess but another spring festival. However, by the 19th century, Ostara had become an important part of German culture in literature, paintings, and folklore. Jacob Grimm, one of the two brothers Grimm, wrote, "Ostara seems therefore to have been the divinity of the radiant dawn, of the upspringing light, a spectacle that brings joy and blessing, whose meaning could easily be adapted by the resurrection day of the Christian's God." It makes sense that the chosen date to represent the rebirth of Jesus Christ was based around a time, the spring equinox, that was already celebrated for light and life. Jacob Grimm said that he found evidence of Ostara's existence in oral traditions in certain parts of Germany, but there is no written proof of this. The thing is, our Western Easter traditions incorporate a lot of elements from many different religious backgrounds. You cannot say that it's just about the resurrection of Jesus, or it's just about spring, or it's just about fertility and sex. You can't pick one thread out of a tapestry and say, now this is what the tapestry is really about. It doesn't work that way. Religion does not live in a vacuum. Very few things do. And sometimes we don't get the answers we want. Sometimes things are simply lost to history. But what we do have are traditions that live on today. Easter is filled with symbology of bunnies, baby chicks, lily flowers, because they are all symbols of rebirth. While to Christians, Easter is a celebration of the resurrection, many Eastern traditions are not found in the Bible. The most prominent symbol of the Christian holiday is the Easter bunny, reportedly introduced to America by the German immigrants who brought over their stories of an egg-laying hare. The popular German tradition of the Easter hare, the tradition from which the Easter bunny derives, is associated with the spring goddess, thus claiming for the first time a connection between Ostara and the hare. This story was published in 1883 by H. Krebs in the English Journal for Folklore. Easter eggs and the hare. According to South German still prevailing folklore, the hare is believed by children to lay the Easter eggs. I venture now to offer a probable answer to it. Originally, the hare seems to have been a bird, which the ancient Teutonic goddess Ostara, the Anglo-Saxon Easter or Ostara as Bede calls her, transformed into a quadruped, meaning 4 legs. For this reason, the hare, in grateful recollection of its former quality as a bird and swift messenger of the spring goddess, is able to lay eggs on her festival at Easter time. As time went on, the story was sometimes blended with other tales or beliefs about Ostara, none of them older than Grimm's book in 1835. This article comes from Ohio's Fulton County Tribune in 1922. Was messenger of goddess, pretty legend which connects the hare with the symbol of awakening life. It appears from a very ancient but little-known tradition that the rabbit, or rather the hare, sacred to Ostara, was originally a bird, very possibly a swallow. The goddess, finding her winged messenger was not fitted to endure all toils and climates, transformed her into a quick, brisk little quadruped with long ears, a warm furry coat, and no tail to speak of, ready and able to summon belated spring from wherever she might be lingering, and to guide her safely, even among the icebergs of the frozen north. Henceforward the hare, the emblem of fertility, was known as the friend and messenger of the spring goddess, and in memory of her former existence as a bird, the hare once a year at Easter lays the gaily colored eggs that are the symbol of awakening of earth and the renewal of life. This is the mythological explanation of the connection of Easter eggs and bunnies. I would like to point out that the story of Ostara turning a bird into a hare is not ancient, but it is also not new. Many define New Age proper as having begun in the 1970s, and it clearly has roots in the blend of Western esotericism and Eastern religion that emerged during the 19th century. The Ostara story is popular in neo-pagan communities, which hold themselves distinct from New Age thought. But there is overlap among these ideas, especially when it comes to the symbol of the egg. The egg is a widely used pre-modern and pre-Christian symbol of fertility and restoration. European pagans, a term used to refer to people who practiced a variety of non-Christian traditions, viewed eggs as a symbol of regeneration that comes with springtime. The egg and all the seeds contain potential, full of promise and new life. It symbolizes the rebirth of nature, the fertility of the earth and all creation. In many traditions, the egg is a symbol for the whole universe. The ancient Egyptians, ancient Persians, ancient Phoenicians, and ancient Hindus all believe that the world began in an enormous egg. The cosmic egg contains a balance of male and female, light and dark, the egg yolk and the egg white. The golden orb of the yolk represents the sun god, enfolded by the white goddess, a perfect balance, which is particularly appropriate to Ostara and the spring equinox, when all is in balance. The tradition of dyeing Easter eggs goes back to the 13th century, when the household of Edward I bought 450 eggs to be colored or covered in gold leaf to be distributed among the royal entourage, according to Ronald Hutton, a history professor at the University of Bristol. But the origin of this tradition is obscure and likely began in Mesopotamia. The first Christians to adapt this tradition colored their eggs red in memory of the blood of Christ. Methods include using onion skins and placing flowers or leaves onto the shells and dyeing them to create patterns. Eastern European countries use wax-resistant batik to create designs with writing and beeswax. Regardless if you follow the Christian faith or not, Easter is a celebration about birth and the renewal of life. Remember that the wheel of the year, or the cosmic calendar, is open to everyone to celebrate, especially because it is about our planet moving around the sun, displaying for us the cycles of the seasons, of birth, of life, of death, and resurrection. Until next time, mystics, stay magical.